Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Friday night after the bell. But tonight is a special night as we are recapping WWE Summerslam, the big pay-per-view. My name is John Zindel. This is Dom Scarcella. Dom, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
It was great to be with y'all beforehand for the pregame. And we said as we were wrapping it up, hey, it's time to go watch SummerSlam. Well, we just did. And without further ado, John, don't bury the lead. What's our top story from WWE SummerSlam 2023?
I'll tell you what, Dom. The top story, Roman Reigns retains against Jey Uso in a tribal combat match. Lots of shenanigans here. Almost too much shenanigans as Solo Sikoa is out there for half of the match, just beating up on Jey. And then to really add insult to injury at the very end, Jimmy Uso comes down. He's got his face hidden, and he breaks up a pinfall. And he takes the mask off, and it's Jimmy. And then he super kicks Jey. So Jimmy turns on Jey. Everyone's sad, but this is the bloodline stuff, right? So they're the heels, and it wasn't meant to be. It was not Jimmy's night as he loses to Roman Reigns. Dom, what did you think of this match?
We anticipated this being a 2-on-1 with Roman and Solo against Jey. We did not think that Jimmy would show up and make it 3-on-1 against Jey. You're right. I mean, this is Jimmy starts getting "F you, Jimmy" chants at the end when he reveals his face. He super kicks Jey on the outside, rolls him into the ring for Roman. Roman kind of looks at Jimmy leaving as if he wasn't expecting it. Then he spears Jey through a table that had been set up in the corner. So that finally got used after being there for a long time. And that's the pinfall. This match goes 36 minutes bell to bell. They fight through the crowd at one point, which immediately made me think of the new AEW rules for talent against wrestlers going into the crowd. That's where Solo Sikoa shows up. And you're right, lots of shenanigans here at the end. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet here early in our review of this match. I've seen 5 Roman Reigns title defenses on pay-per-views so far. I have a hard time not ranking this one 5 out of 5. There's no way this is as good as Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. My second best is Cody Rhodes. Third best is Logan Paul. And I'm hedging between Kevin Owens at Royal Rumble and this Jey Uso match at SummerSlam. I think the Jey Uso match is last.
Yeah.
This was... And at the end, it was almost Vince Russo swerve for the sake of swerve.
Yeah. He fought the uphill battle, and they didn't give it to you. They just let him get the hell beat out of him, and he wrestled guys 3-on-1 the whole time. Not my favorite type of match in a championship. This feels like this is a segment during SmackDown when you want to really get someone over as a heel. Like, just have Roman beat him in a real match or have a little bit of interference. But when you got guys that, I mean, Solo comes out there, he's standing there, he's half the match wrestling with Jey. And then Jimmy comes down, and it's just like, dude, what are we doing here? I mean, I guess the only logical explanation here is we go to a rematch between these two at WrestleMania. I mean, you can't end the story here, right?
Not only can you not end the story here, but they've kind of rewritten where the story is going. Now Jimmy has turned on Jey. And it's funny. I wrote down a few timestamps. You're talking about Solo's out there half the match. This match is 30 minutes long before they're on through the crowd and Solo appears. Solo seems like he's out there forever. He's only out there about 6 or 7 minutes, from what
Yeah.
I can gather. But it's really the last 6 or 7 minutes where the most action is. This is a slow developing match. We get the "Let's Go Roman, Roman sucks" chants early. Shout out to John Cena. Then Roman quickly hits a back elbow to floor Jay and goes, "Who sucks now?" to the crowd. Um, the crowd is slow getting into this. Did it feel like the crowd was anticipating a schmaz and was just waiting? It's like, there's no way this is going to be a one-on-one match. So come on, hurry up, give it to us. And then for the last 6 minutes, they get it, right?
I really liked the beginning. I like the slow pacing.
Okay.
And especially, I like the slow pacing when you have a weapons match. Because so many weapons match I see suck because they grab the weapons right away and start using them. And then you're like, their impact is nil at that point. It just seems stupid. And they just start whacking each other with weapons all the time. But this was like, okay, we're going to do the slow pacing wrestling, and then we're going to bring the weapons in. So when they went through the table on the outside, you get holy shit chants, because that's crazy, right? And the reason it's crazy is because they built up to it. So I think they did a good job with the weapons. However, it just was a little bit annoying with all the interference and nobody there to help Jay. And yeah, I would have rather seen them just wrestle and then Jay isn't as good as Roman, or there's a little bit of interference. I don't need like a guy standing there the whole time,
Yeah, now I'm going to correct myself here. The 1204 was when they set up that double team spike spear, but Jay ducks it and pulls Solo into the way of the spear. And that eventually gets a little heat between Solo and Roman, but not enough to turn the match. I think Solo was out there. It may have been the last 10 minutes of a 36-minute match. So it was a while, but they were wrestling a while without that. And it almost seemed like the crowd was waiting for it. And I think in matches like this, when the crowd gets the sense that what I'm seeing can't possibly be how it's going to turn out, then you get a crowd that's just awkwardly anticipating and not cheering a lot. This was not a match with a lot of cheering, a lot of oohs and ahs. And I'm not doing that as a pun for Roman's ooh ah when he's in the corner setting up a spear or a Superman punch.
Maybe
this was, and this maybe was the whole show was like this. There was a lot of dead crowd in this show, and we can talk about that as we go through. I mean,
well, you know what?
Overall, I don't mind that Roman wins, but I think there may have been just too much swerve for the sake of swerve here.
It was too much swerve. I agree. It felt very Russo-y. I did like the match overall. Like I don't think it was horrible. There was worse matches on the card. I think I think we both know which one it was. But there was worse matches on the card. It was okay. I like the rivalry going into it. I love the storyline, so that helped me through the match. But yeah, just kind of meh. And I don't really think it's Jey Uso. I think it's more the booking. I think Jay was over. If it was awesome when he came out and he did this to the crowd, and then they were all doing it, which is like, if you've ever, I think Eminem does it in 8 Mile. He goes like this, and the whole crowd does this. So it gets like a throwback to like a Detroit movie.
I was just gonna say, is that a Detroit reference there? All right.
Yeah, so it's a great babyface move. He looked great. He looked ready to go. He was very stoic, and he looked. I wish he would have won the championship tonight. He is the guy I would want to see win the championship over rather Cody or any of the guys that are kind of vying.
Okay, then maybe last point here, and you can close it out here. Is it more disappointing that Jay loses, or is it more disappointing how he lost? Because I'm okay with Jay losing. I wasn't really thrilled with the swerve for the sake of swerve that it looked like at the end.
Yeah, how he lost. Because it's the main event of SummerSlam. We don't need all this. We need to get like a definitive answer. What are we building to? Monday Night Raw? Like, what do we do? Like, this is the match, right? Like, we've built to this point. Let's give him the match. But yeah, Vince Russo, rears his ugly head again. And
figuratively, of course.
figuratively.
We're not saying that he's back employed by Titan Sports or
But
anything.
I can promise you he's on a podcast right now. Bro, that's perfect, bro. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what they got to do, bro. So, yeah, there's my Vince Russo impression.
Okay, well, that was the lead, and unless you have anything more there, I'm ready to dive into the rest of it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you like second biggest story from this pay-per-view?
Boy,
I've got two in mind, and I wonder which one you're going to pick.
two are fantastic, and I'm really tossing and turning. But I'm going to just go ahead and say Asuka versus Charlotte versus Bianca Belair.
Okay.
You have Belair go over in the triple threat, and then out of nowhere, Io Sky comes in, cashes her money in the bank in, and bam, she is your new women's champion.
Yep.
Really awesome cash in. A match that started slow but picked up, and they hung in there with the triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
And just the cash in was amazing. The crowd became unglued when she cashed it in and got the pinfall. Gotta say, the crowd was electric for Io Sky, and this is the second time this year we've seen a crowd really respond to her. So, congratulations to Io Sky. It looked like her career didn't necessarily seem like it would have this arc when we first saw her.
Mm-hmm.
But you had always spoken highly of her, and you liked a lot of the stuff they were doing. And it's cool. She seemed to get better and more over with the fans. And tonight she's rewarded.
I liked her because I saw her in-ring ability. I thought Damage Control was a great tag team, and I thought pairing them with Bayley so that Bayley could do the mic work and the instigating was brilliant because Dakota and Io struggle with that. Io, because she's not a native English speaker. I'm surprised that Io, as a character, has developed to the point where they're willing to push her here. That's good work on her part. We've talked about how we think it's good work on Bayley's part, helping her come along. Yeah, I've never doubted Io's ability as a worker. She's quick, she's fast, she can strike. She really is the Empress of the Sky, or whatever they call her. She's very acrobatic. She's the closest thing the women's division has to a real luchador. Yeah. And I think that's why the Puerto Rico crowd loved her.
Yeah.
Is that she really does that Mexican wrestling style. Now let me reverse it here. We talked about, was it more disappointing that Jay lost or the way they lost? Was this more satisfying that Io won, or the way that she won it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think it was more. It's the way that she won it for sure. It was so cool.
It was cool, wasn't it?
The Money in the Bank thing is so nuts because I was like, oh, the match is over. Bianca Belair won, and I have in my notes, like I have all these notes. I said, oh man, they really missed an opportunity to turn Belair heel because I think she could have faked the knee injury and then gotten back up and then just started rocking everybody and won the title, and called all the Detroit fans white trash or something. I've been like, yeah, I'm the heel. But so I was like kind of pissed they didn't turn her heel. And then I was like, I hear the music. And I told you backstage, I didn't recognize Io's music. I thought it was some, what's his name?
Could have been Bray Wyatt or somebody. Like, oh my goodness, who's coming down? But yeah, it was Io Sky. Bayley with her. So Bayley comes down and, they take out Charlotte and Asuka with the briefcase. Then they take out Bianca, and Io hands the contract, the briefcase, to the ref. They hit Bianca with it. Then Io hits the top turn moonsault and gets the very quick pin count. The triple threat match goes 21 minutes, then another 1 minute at the end, really, for Io to win. The end of the triple threat match, I thought was really interesting. But the bulk of this match, this was the second longest match of the night to the main event. And I wrote too slow, too contrived so often that I started abbreviating it. I write down a spot and I write in capital letters TSTC, 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 TSTC. Too slow, too contrived. Like they were trying to get all three women involved in so many sequences. It's like they've heard us and other people complain that triple threat matches are one person's down for way too long, and then it becomes really a one-on-one match, and then somebody else is down and the other person, it's almost like they tag themselves back in.
Yeah,
But I wrote too slow, too contrived, way too often. This was not a good match. It was a neat finish to the triple threat where Charlotte has a figure eight on Bianca. She won't give up. Asuka slides in from the outside, hits the mist on Charlotte. So now Charlotte kind of releases a little of the pressure, even though she's got Bianca's legs locked. Asuka moves over to get Bianca in some hold, maybe an Asuka lock. Bianca turns it into a small package and pins Asuka while her legs are still in the figure four.
Yeah.
Great triple threat ending there, but the match just was not good. So congratulations, Bianca Belair, and more congratulations, Io Sky. I'm excited to see where this goes with Damage Control now back together. Dakota Kai came out to the ring to celebrate with them. This is a very unheel-like thing, right? This is a very babyface thing for like Bayley to celebrate with her protege and not be jealous of her. Like this smells like a Bayley turn at some point, but so far they've been playing it like baby faces.
I do want to say a couple things about the triple threat if we have some
Yes,
time
go
here.
for it.
Totally agree with you. In my notes, I said need to pick up the pace when they're tired, meaning the crowd. The crowd's tired. So when the crowd's tired, you can't mess around. Like you have to know that the crowd's tired. And I don't know what they had planned, but we got to plan B it here because they were really tired and they weren't getting over. Charlotte finally played to the crowd and then got some heat. It was like, that's what you needed. One of you needs to step up and start screaming at the crowd because they're bored and you guys are just in there doing moves. Then it gets real goofy. Charlotte has a wardrobe malfunction. Did you see that?
That was early on. I saw that. That was the first time I wrote too slow, too contrived. That was even without the wardrobe malfunction. Yeah. The ref goes to fix something on her. Yeah.
So then the ref's fixing her wardrobe and the two wrestlers are just standing there in the corner. And I'm like, ooh, this isn't ending. Like they're setting up a spot here, but they're waiting for Charlotte to hit and she's trying to get her gear on. And I'm just like, can they put an extra shirt and shorts down at the ring? So if we have a wardrobe malfunction, just put this on and get going. Like, and I see it with Flair tonight, and we'll talk about it earlier, but Brock, his shorts ripped. He's in his underwear. He looks foolish, So, like, can we get extra clothes under the ring? So if we have these wardrobe malfunctions, and I've seen them happen before, where you're just like, oh, this is going to destroy the match.
Well, pro wrestling is real, John.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is real. They can't fake that, right?
Anything else about this match? I feel like if I talk more about it, I'm just going to be redundant and go too slow, too contrived.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Io, but I could have done without most of this match.
Well, we talked about the lead earlier, and we're kind of in the follow, so let me just make sure I have the right segment up. So we talked about the lead. This is now the follow.
There we go.
So nothing else about this match. What match you want to talk about next?
I want to talk about the match that may have been the only one with a bigger pop than Io Sky got. That was the thing added right at the end of really to the card. LA Knight wins the Slim Jim Battle Royal. Yeah, let me talk to you. This match goes 13 minutes, which is not a lot for a Battle Royal. The final four winds up being Sheamus, AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Bronson Reed. LA Knight eliminates Reed, big pop. Sheamus eliminates AJ Styles with a brogue kick after some interference from Karrion Kross. That leaves Sheamus and LA Knight in here. They had a pretty good match the night before on SmackDown. That we didn't live stream right after it last night. And then it's Sheamus versus LA Knight, and LA Knight winds up eliminating him at about the 13-minute mark. They hit a fantastic move that they did not quite hit the night before. which is Sheamus on the top turnbuckle trying to set up something. LA Knight sprints across the ring and just leaps up to the top rope in the corner. He nails it tonight. They kind of had a half botch last night. He nailed it tonight, and Sheamus did a great job on the belly-to-belly from the top turnbuckle there that sets up LA eliminating Sheamus.
I was really afraid of that spot because I didn't want him to fall out of the ring accidentally. And I see him jump up. I'm like, oh no, if you botch this and like roll out of the ring, that's it, man. That's,
Yeah, you can't save yourself like you did on SmackDown. If you hit the floor, you're done. It's Battle Royal rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, but they nailed it when it counted. LA Knight, huge pop. Pop of the night.
Yeah.
Pop of the night, I think, was LA Knight winning. Second one might have been Io Sky cashing in.
Yeah.
Anything from this Battle Royal that you thought was noteworthy?
Just really LA Knight finally getting his push that he needs. And the biggest pop of the night, no questions asked. And, they're throwing babies in the crowd, as Jim Cornette would say. Like, that's when they're like, oh, yeah, this is amazing. And it's just a dopey battle royale. And you would have thought he won. He knocked off Roman Reigns. There's a guy to watch out for. I mean, he is more over than anybody on the roster right now. Maybe Roman Reigns is more over than him. Then two's got to be LA Knight. I mean,
it might be LA Knight or Cody Rhodes. I mean, Sami Zayn, he's in a tag team that's dealing with an injury problem. But yeah, LA Knight's in the top tier of people who are getting crowd reactions at this point. And just like maybe it was positive crowd reaction that motivated creative to give Io Sky a chance, maybe the crowd's doing the same thing for LA Knight. And this is good crowd reaction. The crowd is not noticing someone who's terrible and just cheering for the heck. Like, the crowd is noticing good work. And sometimes the audience gets that before creative gets that.
Almost always, yes.
Sometimes the audience can see that, and it's maybe a blind spot for creative. But kudos to creative. This was a good pay-per-view as far as finally giving a couple of people who the crowd appreciates a chance. LA Knight wins, huge pop. Io Sky cashes in and wins, huge pop.
Interesting, too. And I think this actually shows that Vince is out of the picture, at least for the time being, because he is, technically.
Okay.
Usually Summerslam is a big heel pay-per-view.
Okay.
A lot of the heels typically win in the pay-per-views. And I feel like there was a lot of faces that won tonight.
There was. This was a babyface thing. Now I've heard a rumor that Vince McMahon actually likes LA Knight, but like a lot of people, they just don't like. LA Knight caught creative by surprise.
Oh,
I think they're trying to thread the needle of finding something that's worthy of this push without waiting too long. And hopefully this is them finally finding the eye there with the starter thread. And now we can begin sewing the garment here, because we talked about on the pregame, if they wait too long with LA Knight, the powder is going to be dead. Yeah. Maybe they finally pulled the trigger.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's a short, Dom.
there we go. What else do you like here?
So I'm going to go the other direction here.
Okay.
And let's talk about the worst match on the card.
Okay. What did you think that was?
I don't know if you agree with me or not, but Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. Oof. This was a bad match.
Crowd was not into it. It's immediately after the huge LA Knight win in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
They let them go 8 minutes here. It's MMA rules, but it's really a hybrid of MMA and WWE. It's not really an MMA fight. They should have just let them have a wrestling match. Shayna looks like she's the kind of person that Ronda would trust, like Raquel Rodriguez is, and then they would have a pretty good match. The crowd is dead early. And I write down in my notes, crowd dead early, but I like this. It was fast-paced. There were a lot of holds, a lot of reversals. I enjoyed it early on, but then they started to get worn out, which you would expect in an MMA-style pace, because MMA takes a lot out of you. That's why it's in rounds. You know, you go 2-3 minutes, you get a break. I'm not sure what the exact breaks are, but you're supposed to get breaks because it is exhausting. This one kind of breaks down. Shayna winds up winning by TKO. She's got that some sort of sleeper hold on. They teased a doctor visit in this one, which almost took the thunder off of the triple threat match later when they had to do that and tease the injury to Bianca.
Yeah.
So this was getting too cliche with tropes. I'm happy for Shayna, but this was not the crowd was not into it, and I don't think this was the best use of either of their talents.
You're being a lot nicer to it than I'm going to be.
Then go for it. I want to hear this. Rip them a new one, John.
So Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. Not only was this match awful, but it was dangerous. She kneed her in the face, and the crowd didn't do anything. Nobody even cared. Like, kill her, and nobody cared. Like, that's where we're at right now with this match. So it was dangerous. It was awful. I wrote D-U-D, dud. The crowd did not care at all. And quite frankly, this is the worst match of the year. I haven't seen a worse match. And this includes SmackDown. This includes matches with Top Dollar.
Okay.
This was just not pay-per-view worthy, not going to help Shayna out at all. And for Ronda Rousey, really just, this is the last match of her WWE career. Not really going out with a bang here.
If this is her swan song, this was sadly appropriate.
Yes.
And like you said, I don't think this really puts over Shayna. If the idea was to have a short but hot feud that puts over Shayna, I don't think this does a lot for Shayna. I don't think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish here. Unfortunate. This could have been on Raw or SmackDown.
If it was on Raw or SmackDown, yeah, it probably should have just been on Raw or SmackDown. The only thing is, it's just disappointing because I thought they could work with each other.
Yes.
And I thought there would be some, like do the MMA stuff in a normal match. But no, this was just brutal. And it's going to be.
Had this been closer to Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez that we saw near end of last year on SmackDown, would this have actually, that kind of match would have gotten Shayna Baszler over, and it would have been an appreciative send off for Ronda.
Yeah.
Instead, this kind of fell flat, right?
Oh yeah. If Ronda wrestled the same match she wrestled against Raquel tonight, you'd been like, oh, it's a pretty solid match.
Yeah.
And you see all Ronda's qualities within that match. But instead, it was a nightmare, and quite frankly, a dud. And just at the end of the day, like, Ronda Rousey, one of the worst wrestlers that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And this run has been really bad. So
it has. I think we can put that one to bed. Can we go to the match that I thought was the most fun of the night?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being too negative. Let's go positive.
The leadoff match, Logan Paul versus Ricochet. They let him go 18 minutes. That was tied for third longest on the card. I thought this was a fun match. I wrote too much choreographed dance moves early, but I like they got over that pretty quickly. This was a fun match. Logan Paul wins it. He moves out of the way of a 630. Then a guy on the outside gives him some brass knuckles out of the view of the ref. Logan Paul hits Ricochet with the brass knuckles for a pin. At 8:26, this match went bell to bell, 8:08 to 8:26 for us on the East Coast here. A lot of fun stuff in this match. Logan Paul gets it as a character. He jaws with the crowd. He knows how to play to them. He knows where the hard camera is.
He does know where that hard cam is.
He's fun, and Ricochet is so much fun with him. I enjoyed this match. This was the most fun match. I know there was really nothing at stake. There was no belt. And Logan Paul had to win this. This
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, I think it was a fun one too. I'd agree. Kind of a train wreck. There's a lot of botches.
Things that
Specific,
look like botches.
I mean, just a train wreck. But it was weird because I kind of like that aspect of it. Logan Paul is very unpolished, so he does these moves and he lands incorrectly, and they look like it really hurts. So I'm like, ooh. But hey, I mean, if you jump off, like a great example would be when they were both on the top rope, and I think it was supposed to be a neck breaker off the top rope. I don't know what the hell Paul was doing, but he landed right on his tailbone. I mean, that's the last place you want to land. Wham, right on his tailbone. And he laid there for a while, and I'm like, oh God, is he really hurt? He probably is somewhat banged up after this match. They try a Spanish fly. They already botched it before, and they
Yes.
botch it again. So it's like, stop doing the Spanish fly. You don't know what you're doing, Paul.
The top turn neck breaker, I had that written down too as a note because Ricochet hits the top turn neck breaker, but Logan Paul gets to his feet first. What?
Right. Right. This was a fun match, but it was silly. There was some silly stuff. You could see that
Logan Paul early hits the Rude Awakening on the apron, hits a running power bomb, mocking Braun Strowman. Then he does the big boot and his version of the Hulk Hogan leg drop that he calls the Hogan Paul. So neat stuff early, but yeah, a few things that looked like the timing was a little bit off. But is this a good use of Logan Paul, and is
yeah.
this a good use of Ricochet?
I think they both complemented each other well. This is good because Logan Paul has the character, and then he's a little weaker in some of his in-ring stuff, even though he just seems to just car crash it up like Mick Foley and just he white knuckles it and does the moves and just is going to get injured one day. And then you got Logan's character and you have Ricochet's wrestling ability. So I think it's a good matchup.
It was fun. It was a good opener. Got the crowd into it for a little bit. The next match they went into was Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, which also went 18 minutes. This was the rubber match between Brock and Cody. Bell at 8:39, finish at 8:57. Cody Rhodes wins this one. He counters an F5, turns it into Crossroads ×3 as he keeps holding on to Brock's neck and pulling him up after each Crossroads. Gets the pinfall, and then post-match they have a stare down. Brock takes off the gloves. Cody takes off the elbow pads. They do the forehead touch, the handshake, the hug. Brock raises Cody's hand to all four sides of the ring. Of course, he's raising Cody's left arm, which had been in the Kimura lock. Cody is still selling the Kimura lock, even as he's getting his hand raised at the end by Brock. A good ending to their feud, or is it too syrupy sweet?
I like the match.
Okay.
The only thing was the end was real goofy.
Okay.
So Brock rips his pants. So it looks ridiculous while he's out there. And then, so Cody does is it called the Cody cutter or no? Whatever this thing is.
The Cody cutter that he springs off the ropes and then goes into a diamond cutter or an RKO?
No, it's something, whatever his other move is.
The Crossroads where he's got the guy in
Yeah.
what looks like he's going to maybe Scorpion Death drop him or neck breaker him, and he spins him.
Yeah, so he does
Crossroads, the finisher. Yep.
He does 3 of the finishers and then pins Brock.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed when he got up, he's laughing. So he corpsed. I think he corpsed because Brock ripped his pants and he said something to him, and he's just like, and then he's like suddenly serious again. He's like, but he was laughing. So I called him corpsing. Outside of that, I thought it was a good match. I love the single leg by Brock. Which is a regular wrestling move. He just goes down and grabs the single leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then working the 10 count is pretty cool. People love counting.
They do. The
10 count. I like that a lot.
He spends the first half of the match telling Cody, save yourself, as he keeps beating him up, throwing the outside, and saying, just stay down and take the count out loss. and Cody refuses to do it. Cody, save yourself. Cody, this is only going to get worse.
Yes.
Is this a good trend, WWE stars trash talking during the matches to the point where we can hear them not only if you're ringside, but also on some of the roving cameras and mics? Like Roman really took that to another level, and it seems like a lot of other guys are trying to do it too. Logan Paul's trying it. Brock Lesnar is doing it.
I like it if the crowd can hear it, but you got to
Okay.
be loud, and the crowd's got to be able to hear it. One note about this.
Sure.
Michael Cole didn't have a great night.
Okay.
Tonight, he was not helping Cody because he's like, "Oh, Cody, stay down, blah 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 blah," and he's doing this whole spiel like, "Oh no, he's just got to stay down. Oh, we're gonna have to call this, oh," and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't need the Cole overreacting because Cody's in so much pain and all that. Like, I don't need it that over the top. Just announce the match. I don't need the caricature Cole coming in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my and I have some more notes on him later too. But
okay. Anything else from this match? Of the 3 matches these guys have had in their premium live event series here, you call this the best one?
Yep.
Okay. Very good. I was going to say I thought the first one they had was the best. This one was either 2. I mean, none of them have been bad, but I was wondering where to put this one.
Yeah. I thought this one was probably the best, but you could probably make an argument that the first one was the best.
Okay, very, very good. Yeah, and a decent close to this mini saga here.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for Cody Rhodes here? We don't watch Cody Rhodes because we don't see Raw. But what's next for Cody Rhodes here? I have something in mind. But
Roman.
what do you think is next for Cody Rhodes?
Roman.
You think Roman is next?
Yeah.
Okay, I think what's next for Cody Rhodes, and maybe this swings us to our next match, I would like to see a feud between him and Gunther.
Ooh.
I wanted because they were so good in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Gunther was awesome. Gunther beats Drew McIntyre tonight to retain. Do you think Cody and Gunther would have a really good match? Because as big as Gunther is, he doesn't seem to do his best work against other big guys. This match tonight, what did you think of it? I thought this was a little tough. The crowd was not into this match, even though they were trying to work stiff. Gunther winds up winning this. He hits a top turn splash onto Drew, then a clothesline, then a power bomb for the pin. This match goes 14 minutes. The crowd at WrestleMania was way more into the triple threat with these 2 guys plus Sheamus than the crowd here was into the one-on-one between Gunther and Drew. Not Gunther's best work here tonight, and I was so amped to see him again. No. And this wasn't as good as some SmackDown matches I've seen with him. I don't want to dump on the guy. I think he's great, but what do you think of this matchup? How it turned out? And am I crazy for thinking Cody Gunther would be a great program to get into next?
Cody Gunther would be awesome. No question. Yes, they're both so technically sound. I mean, Gunther's 10 out of 10 technically sound. Mm-hmm. And Cody's quite the worker himself. So that would be great. I do want to say you're on a Gunther scale, maybe it's not the best Gunther match, but that still means it's really good because he's the best worker in the company.
He is great.
So there is even something I noticed tonight that was amazing.
Okay.
He goes off the top ropes, which he never does, and you never see him do it. And he hits the high spot, and then he hits the power bomb, and then finishes the match.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you use a high spot. Like at the end of the match to finish it, because you've been working slow and chopping and slow and chopping, and then suddenly, bam, high spot, go home. And it's just, he knows everything there is to need to know about pro wrestling. And I feel like he has hundreds of moves in his repertoire. It's really something else. So
it was a good match. Is some of the ring rust maybe with Drew showing because he didn't really wrestle since WrestleMania?
Yeah, it could be that. All right, well, let's keep moving along here. So,
we've got one more, don't we? It's a World Heavyweight Championship match, right? Have we missed anything other than this?
no, it's Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, and I actually said in my notes here this is match of the night.
Okay. Wow, we saved it to the end. 18 minutes. Another one of these 18 that seemed to be the magic number tonight. Okay,
Yeah.
talk about this match then. We saved something really cool for the end.
Well, I wrote match of the night here, but then the triple threat happened. I was like, well, that's the match of the night, not this. But
okay.
At the time, I thought this would have been, which is kudos to the pay per view. They have all good matches, except for the Ronda Rousey's brutal. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins goes over here. A little disappointing with the finish, to be honest with you. I kind of wanted to see Finn Balor win it. I kind of felt like when he came out there and he had the entrance, I was like, I'd like to see him win it here.
Okay.
I kind of like this new character Finn Balor's doing, this heel character. So, heck of a match. Finn actually working heel. He's working the shoulder. He's putting him in an arm bar. He's throwing them into the corner shoulder first. Like he's working a body part.
Mm-hmm.
This is sometimes the problems with like these heels, like Logan Paul. He's not working a body part. He's just like doing car crash stuff.
Yep.
This is old school working heel, right? Working a body part.
It's working context too, right? Isn't that the thing that takes performers to the next level is when it's not just spot to spot out of context and you could shuffle them up and put them anywhere, which is what it seems with some guys. When a guy is really good, and I don't mean that gender specific, could be women. There are women who are fantastic at this as well. When they work a match and it builds, there's a psychology that's consistent in the match, like you're talking about Finn Balor. That's a next level performer, isn't it? That's a next level professional wrestler, right?
Right. So I thought the match was really good. I like the style, the pacing. Seth Rollins was really selling really well too for the shoulder, which was great. Cole blew it for me. So Cole said Balor is going to win the championship, and then he kicked out Seth. But when he said that, he's going to kick out now in one of the spots. I hate when they do. Oh, and Balor's going to win the championship. Oh no, a kick out. Like they never say they're going to win the championship, then they do. It was a kick out. So he telegraphed that spot for no reason. Anything else about this match that you liked?
I like that all of Judgment Day came down to the ring eventually, and that it may have backfired on them. You also mentioned Finn Balor working heel. To me, it didn't really look like that. It looked like he was working old school pro wrestler, but Finn was almost working face because when Damian Priest comes out to try and distract Seth Rollins and then calls for Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley to come in through the crowd, Balor's like jawing with Damian Priest saying, no, this isn't how we wanted to do. Like he wanted to go one-on-one with Seth Rollins, but then at the end, Damian Priest rolls the briefcase into the ring, then runs around to the opposite side of the ring to distract the ref. And as Finn Balor is crawling over to the briefcase, maybe to use it on Seth Rollins, Seth sees it and stomps Finn Balor's head into the briefcase. That's the pinfall at 10:34 p.m. 18-minute match. Like I said, this had a lot of good action, and whereas the Bloodline finish was a swerve for the sake of a swerve, it looked like this Judgment Day finish was kind of just another build of what they've been presenting us, which is kind of Finn Balor had been the alpha dog in Judgment Day since they, excommunicated Edge. But they've been teasing that there's now an alpha dog battle going on in Judgment Day. Not only is Rhea the most popular person in it, not only is Dominic Mysterio getting the most heel heat in a heel faction, but Damian Priest has elevated. So now there's some tension in Judgment Day. So this made sense that played into the end. And I know we're talking Judgment Day here, at least I am. Maybe I risk taking Seth Rollins for granted. He's solid.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a bad match out of Seth Rollins. I don't get to see him because he's been a Raw guy for as long as we've been watching this. So I only see him in very brief internet clips. But I mean,
let me tell you
Seth
something.
Rollins, I don't want to take him for granted, even though it sounds like that.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what. He gets in that ring, and he works his ass off, and bell to bell, always bringing it on the pay-per-views, and he has the look. It's just when he opens that damn mouth of his, it's just like, I don't know what is going on. That's what you told me about LA Knight. He was saying LA Knight's kind of taking some of Stone Cold and The Rock's, in
a good way though. Like he's an attitude. He has the attitude of the Attitude Era.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if Seth Rollins should be talking about how people talk, because that's really a weak point for him, let's just say.
I heard that he's supposed to be doing kind of a Joker character from the Batman character, the Joker.
Yes.
Without the fake paint and dressing up. Is that too much, or is that workable?
It's too much. He should just act like a normal guy.
Okay.
If he just acted normal, it would be cool. He looks cool. He could be a cool guy. He doesn't have to do this. I think it's just more or less, I don't know. Those Applebee's commercials too, they're getting to me.
With him and Becky Lynch, we saw a lot of Applebee's commercials this evening.
And they were not good. All right, Dom. So I think let's go to our last segment here.
Is it drive time?
It's drive time.
All right. This is our thumbs up, thumbs down here. Now we've done once we did kind of simultaneous rock, paper, scissors. Other time we've alternated. What do you want to do here? You want to alternate?
Let's alternate. You want to go?
Okay.
First?
What did you think of this pay-per-view?
Outside of the worst match of the year, it was a very good pay-per-view. I would have liked it to be a little shorter, to be honest with you, but that's just is like, I'm selfish and I want to go to bed. But thumbs up for sure. This was a very good pay-per-view. They built all these storylines together well. The crowd was into most of the matches. Even the ones they weren't in, they eventually sucked them back in. This is one of the better pay-per-views this year.
Okay. I will go thumb down. There was too much in this that did not seem pay-per-view quality to me.
Whoa!
Like I'm not going to rate SummerSlam the way I would rate a SmackDown. I'm sorry. It's their second biggest show of the year from what I've been told.
Yeah.
There was a lot on this card that I saw that was not pay-per-view premium live event quality. I'm going to say thumbs down. Very happy for LA Knight. Happy for Io Sky.
Can you mention specifically what you thought, what matches were not?
The triple threat was too slow, too contrived. Up until Io Sky cashing in, too slow, too contrived. Like I said, the Roman Reigns match, swerve for the sake of a swerve, and this may have been the number 5 ranked match I've seen of him out of 5. It's not like 5 out of 100. It's like 5 out of 5. The Brock Cody was fun, maybe a little too syrupy at the end. The most fun match of the night for me was the opener, which didn't have a lot going for it and could have been just a really good Raw match. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler didn't do what it was supposed to do, which was give Shayna a jumping off point and give Ronda a decent send off. Gunther, Drew McIntyre didn't live up to Gunther matches I've seen on SmackDown, and the crowd seemed out of it. There was too much on this card. This was more than a 4-hour show. There was too much on this card that I didn't think was PLV quality.
And you know what? Cut it, right? You know your good matches. Just cut the Ronda Rousey match. Cut it.
They've already cut 2 matches from this card. We didn't get Austin, at least 2. We didn't get Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar at this. They're saving it for a SmackDown. They bumped Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus from SummerSlam. It was supposed to be SummerSlam at first, and they think they didn't have room for it. They're bumping it to a Raw when they're going to be in Canada, which is going to drive people crazy because that's Trish Stratus's like home country, and she's supposed to be the heel. And they didn't get an opponent for Rhea Ripley. She was supposed to be, I think, on SummerSlam as more than just a run-in during Finn Balor's match. Now, part of that could have been bad luck that both Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan had legitimate injuries, and they maybe just couldn't get a good storyline together for it quickly. But they already cut stuff from this card.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they said they still had too much. If you had, if you started to book a little bit better, you could have had Austin Theory versus LA Knight. LA Knight goes over, crowd goes nuts.
Maybe that's coming. Maybe that's coming because Austin Theory was in the battle royal. What is your U.S. champ doing in this dopey battle royal?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? And he gets eliminated in the middle
of it. Why is he? He's eliminated in the middle. He's not even at the end. Why? Yes. Why was?
And the guy challenging him got eliminated in the middle of it. Are you? Can you bury the U.S. belt any more than you've already done so? I can't wait for SmackDown now.
Why wouldn't it be Austin Theory versus LA Knight instead of that stupid match?
That could have been a good final two.
Yeah. And then LA Knight wins and everybody freaks out.
And that would set up is LA Knight coming after the U.S. title? That would spring you into your next storyline too. Like I said, happy for LA Knight, happy for Io Sky. Too much on this pay-per-view just didn't seem PLV quality. And this really is an Italian goodbye here, isn't it?
This is the Italian goodbye. We've got someone on Twitch. If you have anything you want to say, go ahead and say it. Just wanted to thank you for hanging in here late at night and watching us.
Was I too harsh on the pay-per-view? Was John too easy on it? Yeah. Let us know in the comments.
And let us know, Twitch streamer, we have YouTube content as our home base. So if you want to check us out on YouTube, check us out and subscribe because it helps us out tremendously. Mm-hmm. So even if you want to subscribe on Twitch as well, that's helpful too. So, thanks for everybody that's been watching tonight. It's late. It's the East Coast. I'm feeling delirious. Dom, thanks so much for joining. And we're going to have a bunch of shorts, and we're going to have a bunch of short videos, and we're going to keep the ball rolling here. So happy SummerSlam, and have a great rest of your